Alright, so I wanted to make a video on this for like a while, just regarding like the Warriors' future, like regarding like future contracts and like the roles of the young guys and stuff like that. Like, I wanted to make that video for a while, but I feel like it was already pretty well covered, and I wanted to wait until like some games were played, maybe like a quarter into the season or something like that, just to see how everything was fitting. But I think after today, after these reports that Draymond hit Jordan Poole, punched him, slapped him, whatever it might be, I think after today, I think my stance is pretty much clear, and I just want to make it known that I don't think Draymond should be on this team past this year. To be honest with you, so now I know people gonna think that I'm overreacting to that, and I've already been called a casual for a while now for saying that Draymond, for me, is kind of buns, but if I just don't I don't want to understate Draymond's impact. The Warriors won 4 championships in 7 years, and that has a lot to do with Draymond. Obviously, you have Steph, who's a superstar. You have Clay, who is amazing. He's not a role player. He's an All NBA type of player. Top 20 type of guy. But you also have Draymond, who they're not winning those championships without Draymond. I want to make that clear. Before KD, he was integral. He was the third guy. He needed to be there. With KD, maybe that was to a lesser extent, but still, they did need Draymond on that team. But yeah, man, Draymond coming out as a second round pick. He was just supposed to be a guy that played hard, played good defense. I think he still had that point full forward type of skill, but we never would have guessed the type of assist that Draymond would have had because, Draymond he was just a hard worker. Who he came in as and who he was in 2016, which was his best season, was two completely different players because Draymond just kept on working on it. And I think in his prime he was probably a top 20, 25 player because that's just how much he worked hard and that's just how much he cared at that time. So as time has gone on, you feel me, Draymond just kind of become cocky. He's kind of become arrogant, and it's that would be fine. But it seemed like as time has gone on, as he's gotten more cocky and arrogant, he's also kind of gotten worse. So the balance is just kind of off, and feel me, there's just been a lot of red flags with Draymond, especially recently. Obviously, everybody remember 2018, 2019, wherever that game was, when he called KD a bitch and he was like, "We can win without you," and all this type of stuff. So like you could just see that Draymond's personality. He's always had a big personality. He's always been a loudmouth. But you feel me? It's just it's kind of getting way too big. I think even for the Warriors to handle anymore. And you feel me? I just don't think it's something that the Warriors can contain for much longer. And I feel like today just proved that. I think he's just becoming bigger than himself in a way. You feel me? Like I don't know. Steph is the best player on this team, obviously, but Draymond's the leader. He's the enforcer. He's the guy that's kind of making sure everything is in place and all that type of stuff. But he can't be doing stuff like this. He can't be punching people, especially a young start. Like I don't know if it was in the face. I don't know if it was a slap punch, whatever it may be. Maybe it was a kick. I don't know. But you just can't be doing that because you're the leader. You should know better than doing stuff like that. You feel me? If he was doing all this and producing on the court at a high level, maybe that's fine. Maybe it kind of balances out. But you feel me? For every 12.8 rebound, 10 assist game where he looks like he's filling up the stat sheet. For every game that he has like that, he also has a 3.3 rebound, 3 assist game where he's shooting like 0 for 2 from three, 0 for 7 from the field, and just almost fouling out and just being horrible. So I feel like when Draymond acts the way he does sometimes, his personality, it kind of just supersedes his actual talent and ability. And I think at this point, the Warriors they just shouldn't stand for it at this point. It just doesn't even make sense because there are guys in his position, guys like Kuminga and PB&J, and even to a lesser extent Wiseman, that can fill this big man slash wing role. They were drafted here for a reason. I just don't see why you even are even dealing with a guy like this who's going to cost you, which he wants the max for whatever reason. When you could have, I know Wiseman's only had 1 more year left for his rookie contract, but PB&J and Minga, they have I think 3 more years of being on their rookie scale contracts. So I just don't even understand why even like just having that burden, I would say at this point on you, because even though Draymond will leave, and that would it would leave a big hole in his franchise, but I do feel like those 3 guys, especially those 3 guys, Wiseman, Kuminga, and PB&J, Patrick Baldwin Jr., they maybe won't fill up that hole, but I think they could fill it up at least halfway, maybe 75%, because that's really all this Warriors team needs. You feel me? But yeah, but there's a major issue that comes with Draymond just upping and leaving, and that's because the Warriors as a whole, I think, wouldn't mind letting Draymond go. And when I say the Warriors, I mean the GM and the owner. However, Stephen Curry, I think, has made it perfectly clear that he wants Draymond here. He doesn't believe that Draymond should be the one that has to go. If anything, if anyone has to go, it should be the younger guys. I don't think it was talked about enough when Steph publicly came out and kind of stated that he wanted to play with KD again. Because even though I didn't watch that full interview, you feel me? Just for the fact that he mentioned it, I think should just show where Steph's mindset is at. Like I think a report came out not too long ago saying that Steph believes him, Clay, and Draymond are a package deal. He doesn't want any of them gone. So it'd be a hard sell for Steph to just not have Draymond on the team anymore. You feel me? I don't think it would be groundbreaking news to say that Steph likes playing with Draymond. I think he just trusts Draymond because he's won with him for the past decade. He knows that Draymond knows what it takes to win. And I just don't believe that Steph believes that Kuminga or Wiseman is there yet to fill that role. But Steph is not going to be the one that's going to be paying this luxury tax bill that's going to be ridiculous. I think the highest amount in NBA history or something like that. It's going to be Joe Lacob that's going to have to pay it. So at the end of the day, while Steph is the best player and while it's going to be Steph's decision at the end of the day, like, hey, like if I really want Draymond here, you feel me, he's probably going to get Draymond to stay. But at the end of the day, I think Steph knows that, you feel me, it'll be better for the franchise if Draymond's not on this team anymore. Because at this point, it's just really it's not worth it. Even though they've been together for a decade plus, Draymond knows that Steph has the pull for this. And I know Draymond probably wants to stay in Golden State. But you feel me, at this point, it's just not worth it. It really is just not worth it. So, like, they have a lot of decisions to make in these next couple of weeks, these next couple of months. Jordan Poole, he's eligible for the extension up until, I think, October 18th or something like that. And even Andrew Wiggins, who was probably maybe the third best player after Steph, Jaylen Brown. Maybe was Wiggins better than Tatum? I think it could be argued. For me, for being the third best player in a finals matchup, he has to get an extension too. This is his last year on his deal. So they have a lot of decisions in front of them. And I feel like it should be a little bit easier for them because they have guys in place. They have people who they drafted who I think should get the opportunity. Steph got his opportunity when he was younger. Clay got his opportunity. Draymond got his opportunity when they were younger. Draymond took David Lee's starting role. Nobody really complained about it, even though David Lee was injured and stuff like that. But they got their opportunity when they were younger, so I don't understand why, you feel me, these younger guys like the Moody's and the Kumingas and the Wiseman and the, Patrick Baldwins can't get their time of day. I just don't think it's fair to them because you're not going to know at that, how high of a level they can play at until you let them have their minutes and let them be actual building blocks of the franchise instead of just being these role players as like catch and shoot players. Wiseman as a run, dunk, and jump player. I think Wiseman, if he ends up failing, it's because the Warriors made him fail. Because they told him, hey, if you don't have to be a superstar, we just want you to catch lobs and catch rebounds and box people out. When Wiseman is so much better than that. So when you're like already limiting them, they're going to be limited, if that makes sense. So when you're already putting them in like this little box, of course they're not going to be the 14th overall pick like Moody was supposed to be. He's just going to be a catch and shoot guy. Kuminga can never be the 7th overall pick because he's just supposed to be a high energy, come off the bench, give us a couple points type of guy when they have so much more potential. But anyways, I think I've said enough. But I'm going to leave you with this, right? In 2015, when they won their first chip, Steph was in his 6th year. Clay was in his 5th. Draymond was in his 4th. Harrison Barnes was also in his 4th, right? 2 years after this season, it will be Jordan Poole's 6th year. It'll be Wiseman's 5th year. And it'll be Kuminga and Moody's 4th year. That core with Steph, nobody argued that they were a dynasty. Nobody argued that they just shouldn't have gotten the opportunities that they got. So why now cannot this core get those type of opportunities without Draymond and maybe Wiggins, being off the team? Why can't this core get their time of day? I think that's just something to think about. But anyways, man, I appreciate you for watching this video. Just tell me what you think in the comments, man. But yeah, man, the Warriors got a couple decisions to make, man. Later.